The music was too loud, the bar too crowded, and I was definitely not supposed to be here. Tomorrow was my first day at one of the most prestigious landscape architecture firms in the city, and I should have been home, sleeping, preparing. Instead, I was watching the door. Habit, I told myself when I caught my reflection in the window. But I knew better. I was waiting for someone I'd never met, someone who might walk through that door at any moment, or might not. The uncertainty was its own kind of thrill. You keep checking the door. I turned at the voice. She was beautiful, sharp cheekbones, dark hair falling past her shoulders, eyes that seemed to see straight through me. There was something familiar about her, though I couldn't place it. Habit, I said. Waiting for someone?
No.
The lie came easily. But you're looking at me like you do. She smiled.
Sorry.
Don't be. I like it. What am I doing? I wasn't the type to flirt with strangers in bars. I was the type who planned, who prepared, who had everything under control. But something about this woman made me want to be reckless. You do this often? I asked. Sit next to beautiful women who look lost. I'm not lost. Okay, lonely then. She wasn't wrong. I was lonely. I'd been lonely for so long I'd forgotten what it felt like to be seen. Tell me something true, I said. I haven't done this in a long time. Done what? Talk to someone I didn't want to leave.
Good.
Don't. I should have.
I should have walked away right then.
But instead I stayed. What's your name? I asked. Harper. You? Tonight, she said, her voice dropping to something almost intimate. I'm just the girl who made you stay. I'm just the girl who made you stay. The words echoed in my chest like a promise. She glanced at her watch. Okay. It's late anyway. You should go. Go home. Or yours? She laughed, but it was nervous. This is a bad idea. I know. You sure you want to stay? Are you sure you want me to? I asked first. She looked at me, then really looked, and I felt something shift between us. Something inevitable. Then you already know my answer. Don't. I was pleading now, and I didn't care. I have to. I really have to go. Internship. First day. Go then. Good luck. You too. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw hers. Every time I breathed, I remembered the warmth of her hand on my arm, the weight of her gaze. Boss, your new intern's here. The voice cut through my thoughts the next morning. I was in my office, pretending to review plans I'd already memorized, trying to convince myself that the night before meant nothing, that she meant nothing. Send her in. The door opened and my heart stopped. Harper.
No. No, no, no.
She looked different in the daylight, professional, composed, every inch the promising young designer my sister had raved about. But I recognized the set of her jaw, the way her eyes widened almost imperceptibly when she saw me. I'm Reese Navarro, I said, my voice steady even as my hands trembled beneath the desk. Sloane's sister. It's nice to finally meet you properly. I watched her process this, the realization that I wasn't just her boss, but her boss's sister. That last night hadn't been a coincidence, but a collision course set in motion long before we'd ever met. Maya, I said, summoning my assistant. Show Reese her desk. We'll start in 10 minutes. I needed distance.
Space.
Time to figure out how to survive the next 3 months without falling apart. This is yours. Maya gestured to a corner desk with a view of the city skyline. Best seat in the office. Don't tell Harper I said that. Even her name hurt. Your onboarding folder is on the desk. Take 20 minutes, read through everything. We'll review the Riverside project afterward. Sounds good, Reese said. If you need anything, ask Maya. She knows the studio better than anyone. What if I need you? I felt the question like a physical blow. What if I need you? I needed her too, and that was the problem. Schedule a meeting, I said. Understood, boss. She said it deliberately, the word a challenge and a question all at once. I threw myself into work. It was the only way to survive. I reviewed her work. She was good, better than good, exactly as talented as Sloane had promised. But every compliment I gave her felt like a confession. Every correction, a denial. Focus, I said, handing back her notes on the Riverside project. Review it. Mark anything you'd change. How long do I have? Take your time. I'm done. I blinked. Why this one? The grading works, she said, pointing to her annotation. The people won't. Everyone will cut across the lawn instead. They always choose the easier path. They always choose the easier path. Was that what she thought I was doing? Choosing the easier path by pretending I didn't feel anything? Good catch, I said and meant it. I'll take that. You should. Grab your notebook. We're heading to the site. The construction site was a battlefield of mud and steel, and I used it as an excuse to keep my distance. I lectured her on grading, on drainage, on everything except what I really wanted to say. Every site tells a story, I explained. Learn to read it before you read the plans. The drawings show intent. The land tells you the truth. She listened, truly listened, and I found myself wanting to impress her, wanting her to see me as more than just a boss who'd made a terrible mistake. Start with the grade. I continued. Water will always tell you where the problems are. I caught her watching me, and my voice faltered. God, how am I supposed to do this for 3 months? Then look beyond the property, I said, forcing myself to continue. The neighboring lots, the existing trees, the sunlight, the views. Everything affects the design. She nodded, taking notes, and I watched her hand move across the page. I remembered those hands on my arm, in my hair. Never stand in one place. Walk the site. See it from every angle. I made her walk the entire perimeter, not because it was necessary, but because I needed time to compose myself. Clients see a beautiful garden, I said. We see everything that could go wrong before it's built.
Good.
Now, tell me, what's the first thing you'd change? The drainage, she said immediately. It needs a wider collection swale before the lower terrace. Otherwise, water will back up against the retaining wall. Good. I couldn't help the pride in my voice. You noticed the real problem. She smiled, and I almost forgot to breathe. Let's head back. The fall happened so fast, I barely had time to react. One moment she was walking beside me, the next she was stumbling, her foot caught on a loose piece of rebar. Whoa! I reached for her automatically, my hands finding her waist to steady her. Are you okay?
Yeah.
She was breathing hard, and I realized how close we were, how close I'd pulled her. I think so. I let go immediately, stepping back. Watch your footing. Construction sites aren't forgiving.
Right.
Saw the...
Come on.
We've got enough for today. I walked away without looking back, but I could feel her eyes on me all the way to the car. You sounded like the world was ending, Maya said, cornering me in the break room. It kind of is. I slumped against the counter, exhaustion finally catching up with me. I can't figure her out. 1 minute, she's looking at me like I matter. The next, I'm just her intern. Or, Maya said slowly, she panicked. Why would she panic? Because you're her employee now. Because she's trying very hard to be professional. And because she probably likes you more than she wants to. Or maybe she just doesn't like me. Classic emotional whiplash. Maybe Friday night didn't mean anything. Maybe it was just one night. I heard the desperation in my own voice. She wouldn't even let me stay at her place for a week. Sloane asked. She made up an excuse. There's only one way to find out. Stop waiting. Make her react.
How?
I thought about the dinner Sloane had planned for that night. The invitation Harper had accepted before she knew I'd be there. Wait, I said. She's coming to Sloane's for dinner tonight. What are you planning? Come to dinner with me tonight. You want Harper to think we're together. Maybe. You're trying to make her jealous. I'm trying to find out if she cares. I knew it was petty. I knew it was childish. But I also knew I couldn't go on like this, pretending I didn't feel anything while she drove me slowly insane. That's either a terrible idea, Maya said, or a very effective one. Will you help me?
She sighed. Fine.
Sloane's apartment smelled like garlic and rosemary, and I stood in the kitchen pretending to be helpful while my heart pounded in my chest. You actually came, I said when I heard the door open. Harper was beautiful, more so than I remembered, and the sight of her took my breath away. You invited me twice for dinner. You didn't have to. I know. She looked so uncertain, so different from the confident woman in the bar. I wanted to cross the room and take her hand. Instead, I motioned toward the living room. Make yourself comfortable. Dinner's almost ready. The doorbell rang, and I heard Sloane's voice. Could you get the door? The sauce needs another minute. Okay. I took a breath, smoothed my dress, and opened the door. Maya stood there, a wine bottle in one hand and an apologetic expression on her face. She was my friend, and she was here to help, but seeing her, knowing what I was about to do, made me feel sick. Good evening, I said, stepping aside.
Come in.
Harper's face when she saw Maya was everything I'd hoped and everything I feared. There was shock there and hurt and something that looked almost like devastation. Reese, she said, her voice carefully neutral. I didn't realize you were bringing someone. Last minute, I said, hating myself. Maya, this is Harper. My intern. My intern.
The words tasted like ash.
Nice to meet you, Maya said smoothly, extending her hand. Reese has told me so much about you. Has she? Harper's smile was sharp, knowing. All good things, I hope. All professional things, I interjected, desperate to regain control. Shall we? The dinner was torture. Every glance Harper threw my way felt like an accusation. Every casual touch from Maya made me flinch. I'd wanted to make her react, but I hadn't anticipated how it would make me feel. Afterward, Harper excused herself early. I should go, she said. Early, start tomorrow. I'll walk you out, I said, before I could stop myself. The hallway was quiet, the city lights visible through the window at the end. Harper. Don't. She shook her head, and I saw the hurt in her eyes. Don't explain. I get it. Get what? That I was a mistake. That you regret. Regret. I stepped closer, my composure finally cracking. I don't regret it. I regret the timing. I regret that you walked into my office the next morning and I couldn't touch you. I regret every moment I have to pretend you're just an intern. She stared at me. Then why Maya? Why bring her tonight? Because I needed to know if you cared. The confession came out broken, desperate. And you do. I can see it.
I'm sorry.
It was cruel. I'm sorry. Reese. I can't do this, I said, backing away. I can't be your boss and want you at the same time. I can't pretend I don't see you in every plan I review, every site I visit. But I also can't risk my career, your career, everything I've worked for. You deserve better than an affair with your boss. I turned and walked away before she could respond, before I could say something I'd regret. The next morning, I found a note on my desk. Meet me at the Riverside site. 6 p.m. Please. She was already there when I arrived, standing at the edge of the property, watching the sunset. Thank you for coming, she said without turning around. You shouldn't have asked. Probably not. She turned then, and I saw the tears in her eyes. But I needed to tell you something, and I couldn't do it in the office. What? I'm not afraid of the risk. She stepped closer. I'm afraid of losing the chance to find out what this could be. You said I deserve better than an affair with my boss. But I don't want better. I want you, Harper. I know the rules. I know the risks. But I also know that what happened between us wasn't a mistake. It was the first time in years I actually felt seen. I closed my eyes. I feel it too. God, I feel it so much it terrifies me. Then stop running. I opened my eyes. She was so close I could see the flecks of gold in her eyes, the slight tremor in her lips. I can't promise it'll be easy, I said. I can't promise people won't talk. But I can promise you this. I'm not going to pretend you don't matter. Then don't. She kissed me then, right there in the middle of the construction site, and it felt like coming home. Sloane was the first person I told. She sighed, shook her head, and hugged me. I knew it, she said. I knew the moment you met. Just, please don't make me hear about it. I'll try. The paperwork was tedious, but necessary. Human resources. Legal. A formal disclosure. For someone who hated bureaucracy, it was a nightmare. But for her, I would have done it 10 times over. That first night in my apartment, I'd asked her, "What happens now?" She'd smiled, brushing a strand of hair from my face. Now we figured out. Together. Is it wrong that I want to show you off? Maybe a little, but I don't mind. And when she kissed me, when she held me, I realized that this impossible, terrifying, wonderful thing was exactly what I'd been looking for. She was my intern, yes, but she was also mine, and I was hers.